Thanks, Matt. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and in the wake of the recent Equifax breach, it's a good time to look at your cyber safety. Joining us this morning to talk about it is Steve Martocchio from Cooperative Systems. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning.
You know, post Equifax, what should people be doing now, I should say?
Yeah, well, with the Equifax breach, so many people were impacted. At this point, we're recommending kind of go under the assumption that you were impacted. So some things you could do to protect yourself and your credit. You want to consider signing up for a credit monitoring service. Equifax offers one, but there are many others out there.
Right.
Also consider freezing your credit. There's a fee associated with both of those, but it certainly is much more beneficial than dealing with some kind of loss of your credit.
Of course, and I had read just recently, should you sign up for credit monitoring before you put the freeze?
You could do either.
Okay.
I mean, I would recommend you would want to make sure that if you're applying for credit, if you're either purchasing a house or a car, that's not a good time to have your credit frozen. So know what anticipate your credit needs before you put a freeze on your credit.
You know, and we talk about things that are happening right now, but what should people really be doing consistently to keep an eye on their credit?
Yeah, of course, monitor your credit statements for suspicious activity. Opt in for any monitoring that your credit card company offers. Some offer credit scoring monitoring, so you can get your credit score, as well as monitoring your Social Security number on the dark web, et cetera. So anything that your credit cards offer, I'd consider opting in for. Also sign up for any suspicious transaction alerts from your credit card, because that will help in detecting any fraud in your account.
Yeah, it's funny when you even see commercials now for credit cards, they go beyond just saying, hey, get our credit card. They're talking about the services that they offer as well.
Yeah, sure, and they're on the hook for any fraudulent claims, so they have an interest in being on top of that.
You know, in addition to our credit, are there any other places where our sensitive information and account information would be? And then what advice do you have that can help us, keep that secure as well?
Sure. I mean, many of us do online banking. It's the convenience of it is it makes our lives easier.
Yeah.
So consider adding multi-factor authentication. If you ever receive like a text message when you try logging into your online account, that's a form of multi-factor authentication. So any additional layer of security you can enable, look for that and enable it.
We're also talking a lot about what we can do as individuals, but obviously a lot of companies are affected by this as well. What can companies do to make sure that they're protecting, not only their information, but their customers' information as well?
Yeah, same thing. Add multi-factor authentication wherever possible. Businesses have a lot more online systems such as payroll and cloud data, email. So anywhere you can add an additional layer of security with multi-factor authentication, that's going to be helpful. Also, you want to ensure that you're looking out for suspicious emails, and there's a lot of fraud via email with phishing and CEO fraud. So be on the lookout for anything that looks suspicious, and if you question it, ask before you click.
Like all of those emails that went out about asking, for people's W-2 forms to the companies, just don't click.
Exactly, and that's a good point. Consumers and businesses alike, you want to file your taxes as soon as possible. There's a lot of fraud out there with cyber criminals filing taxes and receiving refunds, and that becomes a complete mess to have to clean up.
A whole nother thing. Well, Steve, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. If you want a little bit more information, you can, of course, head to our website, go under links, and we actually have a link to Cooperative Systems there where you can get a little bit more information.